Hello. Oh my God. Hello, hello. How is everyone doing today? Hopefully y'all have been quite well. Yesterday was that was some news, wasn't it? It's just absolutely terrible what happened in Minneapolis. It just seems like yet another day in our country so far. But today was pretty busy for me. I had a lot of personal things that I was trying to get taken care of before starting stream, so it's a few minutes late, but here we are. I have a lot that I want to go over today, but at the same time, I also want to make sure that I actually get around to doing some type of gaming today, because that never happened yesterday, and I felt bad about it. Just because it's like I kept meaning to get around to it, and I never did. But I also worked on setting up some more overlays for these streams. I went ahead and put together like the background that you see right here, something that I figured I can kind of like put up whenever I just want to talk and generally hang out. It'll be good to have a debate screen set up. That way, if I want to, I can talk and kind of see if people want to join my Discord and join a conversation regarding some of these topics. Just because, like, usually people want to discuss something here. So, I feel pretty strongly about these things. I stay pretty tuned in to politics. I'm very familiar with, bigots and transphobes. But tonight, I definitely want to get some WoW in. I'll probably work on a shaman that I made, and I'll be starting from like very low level with that. I want to talk about what happened in Minneapolis and what happened with Renee Good. I realized yesterday in my stream everything was happening so quickly. I think I misspoke and I referred to her as Renee Goodman. So let the record show, Renee Good. I want to talk about some reactions to it, both from the left and then also from right-leaning influencers. We've got Trump has come up with a plan to use more U.S. tax dollars in an attempt to buy Greenland. Like, he's going to offer citizens of Greenland money to bribe them in order to attempt to get them to abandon Denmark and join the United States. It's just yet more of our tax dollars going that direction. We're going to cover some a video leaked by Reuters of Trump talking to House Republicans, worried about being impeached should he lose the midterms. And last but not least, I want to cover essentially the United States withdrawing away from every single bit of climate change agreement that we had with the United Nations and kind of the fallout from there. So it's going to be a lot of politics to get through. I'm going to try to get through it fairly quickly so that we can, get over to doing some gaming and kind of wrap the evening up that way. Because I do want to play, and I never got around to it yesterday. So let's get right to it. So first and foremost, talking about Renee Good. She's the woman who was killed by an ICE agent in Minneapolis. We have more information about her now. She was a mother of 3. She was a poet and had recently moved to Minneapolis. She was 37 years old. Obviously, she is a U.S. citizen. Her ex-husband offered the information. He was saying that he wished not to be identified. In the video where you can see where the ICE agent killed her, there's another woman who's distraught standing off to the side. And she says, quote, "That's my wife. I don't know what to do." Then we had ICE agents that were blocking a doctor from being able to get to her to render aid. Now, for people that are on the right, because I hear them saying, oh, she was, this was a terrorist attack, whatever. That's all just garbage rhetoric. But let's look at factually what happened here. When the police shoot somebody, the police automatically call emergency services to render aid to this person. So for anyone who wants to use the argument that ICE is essentially the equivalent of police, I would ask that person, why did ICE not call her an ambulance or allow somebody who is qualified to render medical aid to render medical aid to her? Why did they do that? I think it's fairly obvious, and it's that they did not want aid to be rendered to her, and they wanted her to die, and that's exactly what happened. Now, that being said, I predicted yesterday, sadly, whenever Governor Walz was saying that they did not need the feds to come in and offer any more help, I predicted, I said, watch, the Trump administration will attempt to take over the investigation into the shooting and essentially freeze everyone out and say that they're going to handle the investigation. And, don't worry, they're going to investigate themselves and then let you know what happened. Honestly, Scout's honor type of thing. Well, the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension said it was conducting a joint investigation with the FBI, but then the federal agency reversed its course and has now froze them out of having access to interviews, to case materials, or scene evidence that's required for them to conduct a thorough investigation. And the FBI says that they will now completely take it over. They'll investigate it on their own and let us know what happened. I mean, I think we all know that the FBI is led by Kash Patel, and Kash Patel is in the DOJ's back pocket. He is Donald Trump's man. He is over and over and over signaled that he is a Trump loyalist, and he'll do whatever it takes in order to satisfy President Trump. Trump, who claimed that, immediately tried to claim that Good ran over an officer, but in the video of the shooting, we can all clearly see that her wheels were turned away from the ICE officers. The ICE officer that shot her stepped sideways and then shot her in the face. He was several feet from the vehicle when he opened fire. I don't understand how this is why they think that they can just spin this as if we're just going to accept it. And yet that's exactly what they're doing. And they say, like, oh, well, don't worry, the FBI will take over the investigation and let us know what really happened. And I feel like every single one of us knows that as long as the FBI is left to their own devices to do this investigation, we will not get honesty in this. We will not get transparency in this. And it is very unlikely that we're going to have any sort of closure in this. Not for the victim, not for her family. And the only thing that I saw more recent that has come out about this is that I saw that the name of the ICE officer was released. And I believe that Ken Klippenstein went ahead and released the name of this ICE officer along with his photo. The issue is that he has not been arrested. Of course he hasn't been arrested because it's the FBI that's going to be doing the investigation. And we have a loyal FBI. We have Kash Patel, the leader of the FBI, is a Trump loyalist. And I think we all know, like, let's keep in mind, this is the same FBI that when Charlie Kirk was shot, they immediately claimed that the shooter was transgender. They got information wrong. They claimed that there were bullets that they found that had like memes and stuff written on them that ended up not being the case. And we are expected to believe that this incompetent FBI that seemingly just made up information the last time we had a national incident like this, that where everybody was focused on the case, they just made up the information. And yet now we're supposed to believe that that same FBI is going to do a thorough investigation of this and fairly weigh information, like the evidence, and give us a transparent a verdict on this. I just find that like laughable, completely unlikely. I don't understand like why we would expect this. I think somebody in the chat is having a complete meltdown, not realizing that there is an auto mod. So like nothing that you're spamming at me is going to come through. No one can see that, just so you know. It's funny that you're trying spamming slurs at me, but if you want to, I could put my Discord link in my chat, and you could join my Discord, and you could come on and you could actually talk to me, since you seem so triggered over this, which is just hilarious. So anyway, the FBI claims that they're going to do a takeover of the investigation. It's obviously not going to be transparent. And all I can say, because is all that we have is the publicly available video, which just shows the ICE officer shooting Good, which seemingly is in cold blood. There's been a lot of different reactions to this, including, I'll show you a video real quick. Here is an ICE officer who kicked over a candlelight vigil that was being held for Good.
Punk? That's what you're gonna fucking do?
What?
Really, you fucking punk? That's what you're gonna fucking do?
What?
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 What? Do you know what
Back
the fuck
up.
is a
So remember Tim Walz was saying to peacefully protest. So how much more peaceful do you need here? You have a few people gather together. They post they're hosting a candlelight vigil for this person that was shot and killed. They're clearly away from the officers, and the officers are instigating this by kicking over and trampling on the vigil. And now you're about to see the officer put his hand on this person who, again, is peacefully protesting. This guy hasn't done anything.
that is for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
You're gonna push me? What is that for?
Back
Yeah,
up.
just
What is
touching
that
him,
for?
shoving him.
You don't give a fuck about her?
Oh, look, he
This is
needs
why we're
reinforcements,
here.
more cops.
This is why we're here.
Back up.
What's her name? Renee Good?
Actually, here, I'll downsize this so you can see it a bit better, since the chat is covering. And yeah, I agree, Hana. It's hilarious to me that somebody is they imagine showing up in my chat to spam stuff at me that's being blocked by an auto mod because they're putting slurs in it. They think that that's going to intimidate me or make me stop doing what I'm doing, which is just simply reporting the facts of a case. What have I said that isn't true of the situation? An ICE agent shot and murdered this woman, Good, seemingly in cold blood. There was an investigation being done by Minnesota, in which case we may have gotten some answers, but the FBI has now frozen out the state officials and they're taking it over. The FBI is run by Kash Patel, a Trump sycophant who released a bunch of false information during the Charlie Kirk shooting. It is laughable that you think that we ought be expected to trust this FBI when they just make up stuff. They just make up whatever they want to. And they, they're like the boy who cried wolf. And now that they're like, oh, well, don't worry, we're going to come in and do a thorough investigation. it seems like you fired a lot of the competent field agents. There's been whistleblowers in the FBI talking about how it's been gutted out, so that now we have only a bunch of incompetent Trump loyalists that are still sitting in there. I don't understand why what I've said, how any of that could have made you that upset. All right? What did I say that was false? What did I say that's not true? You know, facts don't care about your feelings, internet tough guy. So if what I said is not factual, then feel free to correct the record. But just remember, if you want to talk in my chat, you cannot spam slurs. It's just auto-modded. It's right into the void. No one sees it. And if you are so inclined, if you'll actually type in the chat and say that you would like to speak to me, you can talk directly to me. I'll put my Discord link down there. You can join my Discord. I'll pull you into the channel and you can speak to me. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. And everything that I said, anyone can double check if they want to. Anyone can use their Google Foo and look up Kash Patel. They can look at the misinformation the FBI was releasing. Remember when the FBI said, "Oh, we've got the Kirk shooter," and it was like some random old guy. They also had somebody else that had a BB gun, and like, "Oh no, we got him this time." Then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh no, it's not that person either." And then they said that, "Oh, well, the shooter disassembled a gun that takes a significant amount of time and material to disassemble, that he took it off, like pulled it apart, took it off the rooftop, ran across the campus, and then reassembled it inside of the woods." Like, none of that narrative made any sense. And to immediately say the shooter is trans without any evidence was embarrassing and irresponsible, and obviously an attempt to make people fearful of trans people because they had a narrative that they were selling, just like we already have seen the narrative with this situation, right? Before Good's body was even cold, Trump was already spinning a narrative, and we ended up having Noam already saying this is a terrorist attack. Just complete nonsense. It's just completely made up. How can they come to these conclusions before the investigation is even done? You're going to really say that, oh, this was clearly a terrorist attack before there's even an investigation, before the FBI even has the facts? How? But at the same time, they're going to tell you, don't believe your lying eyes when you can watch the video directly, see what happened from multiple angles. So here's this guy getting pushed around at a candlelight vigil. So let's go over this real quick, and then I'm going to show you another reaction from the right.
And you fucking, that's a memorial to her. That's a memorial to her. No, good. You're a fucking coward.
Fuck you guys.
You're a
you
piece
guys
of
are
shit.
Nazis.
You fucking proud
Shame
of
on
yourself?
you guys. Fucking shame.
Then he walks over and puts the candle back up. So this is literally just some random person and cops kicking over the candlelight vigil. Let's take a look at the right. Remember, we were told that people on the left are violent, even though we already had Governor Walz coming out and saying that people have a right to protest, but, you know, let's be responsible and don't give them a reason to use the Insurrection Act to send in more militarized forces that might make everything worse. That's what Walz was saying. Then we get told that the right does not advocate for violence. So all the memes that they're sharing right now, where they're showing this innocent woman being murdered by Gestapo, while they're yucking it up over this, we are supposed to feel bad for Charlie Kirk. And oh, remember Kirk, and oh, he just wanted to debate, and he was just a little provocateur. He only stirred up shit everywhere he went. He only tried to make minority groups, you know, targets of the state. Poor Charlie Kirk. Meanwhile, no sympathy whatsoever for Good. Remember that the right has this like war on empathy. Well, you shouldn't have empathy for people. You shouldn't have empathy for people. You shouldn't care about that. Okay, so y'all are the same people that say we shouldn't have empathy for people, but you want us to have like empathy and sympathy for the Kirk family and Charlie's friends. Let's take a look at what the largest right-wing streamer online had to say about this. And I'm talking about the Cockroach King himself, Asmongold. So Asmongold said this about it.
That I look at things is insane to most other people. I'm fully aware of this.
Now, he has said this, by the way. He's been on streams, saying this over and over and over and over. I don't, like, once again, you're so fragile. Like, why even come in and spam stuff? There you go. Well, you lasted all of a few seconds. Whoops. Good on you. Guess what? People are still going to see what Asmongold said. People are still going to see what when you pull the mask off conservatives, this is who they really are. And keep in mind, this guy is one of the largest streamers, one of the largest conservative influencers on the right. Here's what he had to say about himself. And he was streaming this stuff all day.
I know this. And my argumentation and the way that I see things is just totally wrong in the eyes of most people. And the reason why, and that's the big reason why I have problems dealing with like other people a lot, is because my solutions to problems are oftentimes so extreme and so immoral and, you know, like inhumane that people, because I don't really see people as people in a lot of cases. I just see them as an object or a functionary tool. And this has been a problem my whole life. And so basically, like, I have a very different perspective on the way that I see things in the world.
His entire
Do you think about
life.
killing random people? Yeah, all the time. Constantly. All the
These are the influencers influencing young conservative men, right? The same people that tell you not to have empathy for other people, the same people that advocate for violence all the time. Here's Asmongold advocating for violence over and over, talking about fantasizing about violence. This is him. This is who your kids are watching when they're watching, like, say I stream World of Warcraft. He's also known as a famous World of Warcraft streamer. I don't say any of this stuff when I'm streaming. I play the game, I talk to chat, we have a good time. Instead, people are exposed to this toxicity. Someone who says he has no values, that his values, that the way that he sees the world is completely different than the way that most people see the world, because he has all of these antisocial, violent fantasies about harming other people. Is this really, like, healthy? Is this a good place for a good direction for our society to go? Is people like this? And they want to label us as dangerous, as queer people, as degenerate, when they openly admit they have no moral standards whatsoever?
time. Yeah, if somebody makes me mad or something like that, yeah, of course. I could not drive down the road without thinking about every pedestrian and if I could run them over or not.
Right. Every random person, right. It's so true, Hannah. They do not want me talking about this. They don't want you to hear it. They don't want you to know about it. If they're all about facts over feelings, why are they so scared just to show what right-wing streamers are streaming? Just to show their own words. Why are you afraid of Asmongold's words? When he says he wants to run over random pedestrians, that he just fantasizes about this, why is this something that you're so afraid of? Okay? Don't you think, like, you ought be concerned if Asmongold lives anywhere remotely close to you? He just said pedestrians. He didn't say anything about any of the other qualifications. So for all we know, he's looking at school kids walking around and fantasizing on just running them over. It could be any pedestrian. It could be your family. It could be you. And people in Asmon's comments are just yucking it up, laughing and lol the memes and whatnot. But this is the brain rot. This is the immoral behavior that is being advocated for and talked about and normalized to this group of people. So young men are being told that they shouldn't have empathy. They're being told that this male loneliness problem that they like to go on and on and on about is somehow the fault of the left or feminists. Meanwhile, their influencers are people like Andrew Tate, and as I said before, the largest conservative streamer in the world, Asmongold. These are his words. These are things that he says
like 3
and
months.
thinks and believes.
I was going in on this because I spend so much time around people over on Call of Duty. It's the call of the void. You're describing psychopathy. Well, either way, I don't let things like this affect me at all or bother me. And then he pops her off. He shoots her right here. Yeah, there it is. You see right there. Oh wow! And then he shoots her. Gotcha, bitch. And then he shoots her a couple more times to finish her off. Absolutely rip fucking bozo. The only thing you have to do is crush them.
So just remember those words, rip bozo, and then like you could take his exact audio and just play it over the video of Charlie Kirk, right? Is it still funny? Are we still yucking it up? Is that still something that we want to normalize in society to laugh about? And this is the state just randomly killing a woman. And that is supposed to be the subject of something that is humorous. And yet when it's one of y'all, all of a sudden, everyone is fragile and you need to be coddled and we need to hold on. We need to have a 10-second silent prayer for Kirk. We need to have a national day. We need to fly the flag at half-mast. Oh my God. Oh, not Kirk. They took out Charlie. Oh no, not him. But other citizens get murdered, and that's fine for humor. That's fine to just joke about it.
You crush them completely.
Make games out of it.
You never go like after you say basically after you run one of them over, right? Or you shoot one of them for trying to run you over, then you victory lap around it and you send in more people and you do it even more.
Okay, so that's not advocating for violence. That's not one of the largest conservative streamers who still streams actively on Twitch and YouTube. That's not him advocating for violence. But the left are the ones that are violent, despite the overwhelming mass shooters being conservatives on the right. Here he is with Nick Fuentes. I think we all are aware of who little Nick is.
They have to crush the other side.
That's right. 100 fucking %. Destroy everything about them. Put the mayors in jail. Put the governors up on the Insurrection Act for sedition. Put all of the people that were doing the shit in front of the detention centers. Put them in mandatory prison.
All right, the people that were doing stuff in front of ICE facilities is like essentially just standing around holding signs and protesting, exercising their First Amendment right. And yeah, it's been like a month ago is when that stuff with Kirk happened. And yet here we are listening to Asmund just endlessly advocating violence against people, saying that people that are exercising their right to protest should be put in forced labor camps. Isn't it funny how quickly the mask comes off and it ends up being the exact type of Nazi rhetoric that we all thought all along. And when we called them out and said, hey, it seems like the right wing is pretty fascist, like it's pretty fascy up there. And they're like, oh no, not us. Why are you calling us names? You're trying to bully us. You're trying to incite. They said that calling them Nazis was inciting violence against them because of historically what happened in Germany. But here we have dead to rights Asmongold just saying over and over and over. And keep in mind, underneath his videos, underneath his tweets, it's just conservative after conservative lolling about this, signing off on it, co-signing it, saying that, oh, it's such a good idea that they already should have been doing this and these sorts of things. And yet we're supposed to be the ones to be responsible.
Labor camps, authorize the police officers to respond with violence to them, bring in the military if you need to, look and find out who's funding this, take those people, charge them with incitement for terrorism, put them in Guantanamo Bay. Like, I'm talking about scorched earth, Old Testament, get them the fuck out. And by the way, my position is the moderate position. There are a lot of people in the audience that want to do way worse than that. A lot of people in the country that do. Yeah,
So he's saying that his positions that he's been saying are now the moderate positions. So for those of you that are saying that, like, oh, you're fear mongering, and why are you so worried about conservatives, and why are you saying that there's like a Nazi problem in like video game communities and stuff like that? It's because when you look at the Cockroach King and you look at his like army of sycophantic followers that are basically young, angry, disillusioned men, and then you hear him saying what is essentially like genocidal rhetoric against people, fantasizing about murdering your average citizen, he turns around to say like his position is actually the moderate position. It makes no sense whatsoever. If he's the moderate, then who do you think he's going to gesture to as the extremist? Are his audience? Does he think that fantasizing about murdering people and advocating for state violence against people, that's a moderate position? This is what happens when you lack morals, when you have no ethics, when you have no virtue. This is when you fall into almost like this. He has almost like a complete nihilistic mindset when it comes. It's fatalistic. It's like he feels like the only way to solve anything is to essentially harm and kill people. It just shows you what his intellectual capacity is. That the only thing that he can really think of is just murder and putting people in prison, as if there's no other way to reach people. There's no other way to change the minds of people that you're talking about or talking to.
An hour ago, 1,000 comments. Oh, people are crying about this. They're getting mad. Centrist, by the way, this is the centrist position. And you're going to cry about this. You're going to bitch about this. But you've got 3 more fucking years of it. And you know what else? Whenever the next election comes around, I and a lot of other people are going to vote for somebody who is even more extreme than Trump. Because I don't think Trump's doing enough. I do believe everything that I said. And I think that he should go even farther than that. So we got a guy.
All right, so he continues on for like another 13 minutes of this. And I feel like the point's been made. I don't need to go on and on and on for another 13 minutes. All right, we all know that Asmongold is very clearly, when they're calling him like a Nazi, and they're like, oh, you're literally a Nazi. And he's like, oh, but when we vote again, we're going to vote in someone even worse than Trump. Well, it's funny that Asmon says that, because let's just move right into our next segment, since he's talking about voting. And I'm just trying to knock these out real quick so I don't spend literally all night just responding to the Roach King. Here's what Trump had to say about the next election. If it loads. I guess I can vibe for a second and just chat while it's going on. But I thought this was pretty funny that Trump is talking to Republican members, and this is supposed to be like a private thing that he was saying over there, where, they didn't know that it was going to be released.
You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached.
Oh, how terrible.
We don't impeach them, you know why?
Being held accountable
for
your actions?
Than we are. We should have impeached Joe Biden for 100 different things. They are mean and smart.
Okay, so the left is mean and smart? After what we just listened from Asmongold? We're supposed to accept that the left is mean when he says that the literal Nazi rhetoric that he was using is that's the moderate position. Seriously. And he says that they're going to vote to do worse. And I like that Trump in this, in the same speech, he ends up saying, quote, they say that when you win the presidency, you lose the midterm. And then he goes on to ask, he wishes that someone could explain this to him, because he doesn't know what the hell's going on with the mind of the public, because he's so unpopular. I think it's because the average citizen recognizes how extreme Trump is. And it's one of the reasons why his positions are just so unpopular. But Asmond, who is one of the internet's largest idiots, he doesn't understand this either. So when he says like, oh, well, we have the moderate position. No, you don't. You actually are in the minority of being this extreme. And when we end up having another election, I think that it's hopefully going to reflect this in a rebuke of Trump and his policies. Trump is already losing power right now because I know that it's going to end up being something that Trump just goes and vetoes. Is what he's going to try to do to it. But the Senate just passed a resolution essentially trying to neuter his war powers in doing anything more in Venezuela. The Senate, they had 9 Republicans flip and vote with Democrats to limit his war powers because of the Venezuela stuff. And you already see there's GOP members are already murmuring and saying that they do not want to go to Greenland. They do not want military action in Greenland. So you are starting to see cracks form in the GOP, which will be, I'm sure the rest of the world would breathe a sigh of relief. And keep in mind that because of the accident that a House member got into, then we had another House member of the GOP suddenly die. You end up having Mike Johnson. He only has a 1 vote majority right now. Like every single time they take a vote on something, they only, if they vote straight party lines right now, he only wins by 1 vote, especially because Massey tends not to vote with them. So Trump has concocted this. Let's be real here, that the shadow president, Stephen Miller, is the one that actually came up with this. But this seems like something that was pitched to Trump and Trump just signed off on it. Because what does Trump do in the same way that every time he assaults a woman or every single time he gets into any sort of trouble whatsoever, Trump is like bribery. It's the first thing that he goes to. Find a way to bribe him, because he can just take our taxpayer money right now and use it as bribery money, right? And he says that he's America first. And what do we end up seeing? Well, we end up seeing he wants to give $100 billion in taxpayer money to oil companies to harvest oil out of Venezuela. We also saw that Trump wanted to give $40 billion to Javier Milei to prop up a failing Argentinian government. That doesn't sound like America first. So now the White House has concocted this idea that they're going to offer every citizen of Greenland checks ranging from $10,000 to $100,000 each if they will vote to no longer be part of Denmark, but to become part of the United States. Now, NATO obviously is unhappy about this, and they're already saying that this is, this would be considered an act of aggression, maybe even an act of war. And I just find, isn't it so strange that we're seeing mirrors once again between Trump's tactics and Putin's tactics? Remember when Putin went into Crimea and they started hosting essentially rigged up elections, and they're like, oh look, all these people are voting to break away from Ukraine. They want to be Russians. They're proud to come back and be Russian citizens. And it was everyone knew, really, you bombed this place, you were in the military, you invade there, and now coincidentally, loyalists of yours are hosting elections that just so happen to reflect that all the people here want to be Russians. And now we find out that, Trump is oh, he wants Greenland. He's not going to rule out military action. He wants it so bad. And then say, oh, but wait a minute. What if we just bribe all the citizens? What if we just offer them anywhere between $10,000 to $100,000 per person to bribe them to join the United States? I'm sorry. I thought we were against giving foreign nations a bunch of our tax dollars. And what did the citizens of Greenland do to deserve getting $10,000 to $100,000 each of our taxpayer money? Meanwhile, our citizens can't afford groceries. and we're supposed to just accept that this is a useful use of our money? Why can't American citizens in the American First movement, why can't we get access to universal health care? Why is it that our health care is too expensive for this administration? Why is it that the idea of housing is too much, or paying for homeless people, any sort of like programs to feed children in states? This is SNAP is too much, and yet giving Venezuela $100 billion to oil companies, oh no, that's perfectly reasonable. Giving Argentina $40 billion to prop up Javier Milei, oh, that's completely okay too. And now we're going to offer $10,000 to $100,000 per person to try to bribe the entire country of Greenland to vote to join our country. It's just outrageous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And they're like, well, it would totally be worth it because we really need Greenland. We really want Greenland to join us. And it's like, yeah, but at what cost? And they're like, oh, it's only going to cost like $6 billion to bribe them. Okay, well, if it costs $6 billion to bribe them, and then what happens if NATO ends up freezing us out and puts embargoes against our country because of it? Then we end up losing how much in trade? It's just going to absolutely destroy our economy. It's going to cost us a hell of a lot more than just, a few $1 billion if we end up getting frozen out by NATO. I know that was a lot. And, I've been thinking about this stuff off and on all day, but I think I'm going to get to doing some gaming for a little while. Right. Oh, 100%. The amount that he's going to have paid, the bribes to these other countries and to, propping up Venezuela and Argentina, all of that will be like way more than he ever paid his damn lawyers. Like his poor lawyers just can't get a break. Everyone that's ever helped Trump, everyone that he's ever like said, oh, he's going to be part of, an America First movement to help them out. All of that stuff has always been just straight up lies. 100%. So I'm going to, play some WoW. And look, I'm not going to be a complete piece of shit genocidal maniac and talk about, psychotic fantasies about harming people in the general public while playing this game. It is possible to be a gamer, to stream games, and also be based, It's pathetic that so many people end up looking to people like Asmon and like, oh, he just like me. When it's like, no, he's not. He's not anything like you. He literally is like self-acknowledged as being like a psychopath. I don't understand why we would look to people that have absolutely no morals whatsoever, no virtue, as somebody that we'd actually want to emulate. It's just so sad. And it's all that they can do. It's like they can't actually have conversations about this because they have no actual positions that, make sense to people or that people would actually want to follow. So instead, all they have are threats and intimidation, or spamming stuff in my chat, trying to like intimidate me, trying to make me stop talking about, Asmund, trying to make me stop talking about Trump or ICE. When I don't understand why they think that would work. Like, what do you think that you're going to come in here and threaten me with that, like, people haven't said to me numerous times in real life? It's like, it's such a weird internet tough guy type of thing. It's just, it's hilarious, especially when you consider, what people like Asmon sit around talking about all the time. And it's like, I'm sorry, what's happened to Asmund? Oh, nothing. You really think that why ought I be afraid of you when people are saying like actually just made up lies and like deranged fantasies about murdering other people? Like, you think that I should just assume that it's fine for them to do that, but I should be I should be scared of you. So ridiculous. And it's like they don't even recognize the amount of harassment and bullshit trans people have to deal with on a daily basis is like, you know, them being like, you know, oh my God, you better stop talking about this right now. You think that that's going to like scare me compared to what people like death threats and stuff that I've gotten, you know, on Twitter? It's hilarious that they think that, you know, well, I'm going to intimidate you by saying these dumb things, considering, you know, of all the other things, like eventually y'all just sound like windbags. It's like, you know, at this point, whenever they start saying stuff like that, it's more like yawning, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, sorry, yeah, I'm falling asleep. What were you saying about threatening me? Like, what was that? Why should I care? You know, it's like y'all spent all of your, you know, you've wasted all of your threat points. Like, I'm not intimidated. The taunting isn't going to work. You've said it too many times. You need new material. And the, what would be even better is if they actually came up with like some, you know, facts of the matter, or we could discuss the subject, and then they could convince me that I was wrong about it. And I'd be like, huh, you know, if I was convinced that I was wrong about it, then I actually would stop saying it. But as long as I believe that, you know, I'm talking the truth, I'm going to keep speaking about it. And no amount of like crybaby right-wingers are going to make me stop talking about it. It's just so sad, especially considering like the state of the country, how expensive everything is, and they want to act like, you know, the average citizen is just completely happy with the way that things are going, and that like someone as deranged as Asmongold is anything like the average citizen. Like, I don't know, like that's got to be some, it's almost like a Trumpian level of like a narcissism. It's like, oh, everyone is just as evil, corrupt, and deranged as I am. And it's like, part of me wonders if a lot of the people that follow him because they're just entertained by people saying really dumb, extreme things. But then he mistakes, you know, being kind of a lolcow to them as like, oh, they are actual fans of his that think that he has valuable things to say. Especially because it seems like they constantly overestimate the influence that they have. Where it's like, oh, Trump was given a mandate in the last election. Then you go and you look at the actual numbers of the election, and it's like he won by like 3%. And it's like, you think a 3% margin of victory, 3 or 4%, you think that that's a mandate when Joe Biden won by like an even larger margin? And they were like, oh no, Biden just squeaked out a victory. And it's like, okay, so it counts as barely squeaking out a victory when Biden does it, but when it's Trump that does it, that it's just a crushing tsunami. It's a mandate from heaven. It's like God came down from on high and handed him like a scroll of command. It's like, get out of here. It's like, y'all are just clowns. But they want to make fun of us and say that we're the ones that are, you know, lack principles or that we're deranged or whatever, while they're literally fantasizing about like mass murdering people. I don't get the, I don't get these conservatives. I really don't. And like, the thing is, I can demonstrate why I'm not like, you know, Trump or Asmund, as far as like, you know, oh, well, you're just two sides of the same coin. You're just as extreme or whatever because you're on the left. The easiest way to demonstrate this is just to point out that, like, I recognize the nuance on the right. I can recognize that there are plenty of conservatives that are neocons. I can recognize that there are conservatives because they've just been indoctrinated into this, or they're like doing a tradition thing. Or like, well, my dad was a Republican and my grandfather was a Republican, so I'm going to be a Republican too. Or they end up buying into, you know, some type of rhetoric. You know, back in the day, it was like justifying the Iraq war and those sorts of things. Like, I can see how you end up with like libertarians on the right and that sort of thing. What I don't get is how people like Asmongold can say the things that they say, and then like there's not a contingent of people that are pushing back on it. And like as much as I don't like the guy, and I've obviously made videos responding to Ben Shapiro, and I've made my thoughts very clear on what I think of him. I will say, like, his recent speeches that he was giving, calling out like Candace Owens, the like conspiracy theorists and that sort of thing on the right, and saying like the right has a responsibility with who they platform and who they listen to. I thought it was kind of hilarious. He called out Tucker Carlson too, and then Tucker came out there and just cackling, like, laughing his ass off, being like, "Oh my God, I did not expect to come here to be canceled. I thought we don't do that. We don't cancel." And I'm like, no. Y'all cancel all the time. Y'all are the ones that were like shooting up cans of Budweiser because Dylan Mulvaney was given like an honorary, 6 cans of Bud with her face on it. Like, y'all freaked out over that. Y'all absolutely cancel stuff all the time. In fact, the guy that showed up in my chat earlier trying to threaten and intimidate me and say, like, you better stop streaming. Like, okay, I'm sorry. He attempted to cancel me. He attempted to cancel me, right? That's y'all's thing. He should be ashamed of himself. I can't believe he did that. He did the worst sin ever. He tried to cancel me. He tried to cancel my stream, right? So, like, oh, I know, yeah, they're all like little snowflakes that just melt away. And it's like, you either are going to side with Ben Shapiro if you're a conservative, whenever he says like, hey, we have some moral culpability and responsibility to make sure that we're not platforming people like Asmongold because of the danger that they pose in radicalizing people. Because let's be real, a lot of his audience might watch him just to laugh and, make memes and, be like edgy teenagers or whatever, because he's playing like, video games. So there's going to be some people that are just entertained by the game. Some of those might end up being kids. So you have some of those people, but then you also have other people, like some portion of his audience, that might actually, watch him, listen to him, become radicalized by the things that he's saying, or figure like, well, wait a minute, Asmond is the moderate. Like, maybe he's right that that's his moderate position. So he's going to go and find, who these extremists are. Maybe they find their way to Nick's streams, as Asmond was, streaming on his program. And now you have somebody watching people that are like way more radical than right. It's just wild that, they don't make these connections at all. That they don't see how any of this stuff like connects. Like, oh, surely it must be the left that is all aggressive and a danger to people. It can't be themselves. Meanwhile, you have people like Asmongold using like such extreme rhetoric. Yeah, oh, you're saying something that I don't like on your own stream, therefore I'm going to like threaten you and try and get you like turn your stream off. Like 100% canceling. At least like I can say like that's like the first time that somebody ever tried to like, I think, fully cancel us, I survived being canceled. Usually they just come in and scream slurs at me and that type of thing. Which, I mean, I don't know. If they would like to have a conversation, they could always ask for the Discord link, which I'd be willing to put down there and have them come on and talk to us. Might be entertaining. But, a lot of them only want to come in and say things that the auto mod is going to clip out. So no one actually even sees it on the stream. They're just wasting their time. And for me, it's kind of like, you know, it's a little humorous seeing them like rage in the box and nothing, you know, nothing happens. Like they're so angry. It's like that you know, Bullet for My Valentine, you know? They're like the rat in a cage, you know, despite all my rage, still just a rat in a cage. Like, yep, that's you. You're just over there ranting in a cage, completely incoherent and no one can hear it. Right. Oh yeah. I'm going to actually switch over to let's do elemental spec. See what do I get for starting elemental. It's the exact same thing. But one of the things that I'll say is, you know, I want to get some characters leveled up for Midnight. And I was thinking that, you know, I really like the Eredor. So I think like as I used to, you know, I played Horde for so long, but I'm really thinking about switching over and doing like Alliance again, just because like they are so cute. I like them so much. They're just adorable. There we go. Do I have a gold piece? Yeah, I do. Good. All right. Let's get a group. So, I don't know. Shaman, like, probably Shaman, maybe Shaman, Warrior, Paladin. I do like Druid too, though. Go kill the ogres again.
We've almost cleared the room. Keep pushing.
Oh well, I could always put up my debate topics too, if anybody wants to debate us on something. Because, like, I'm definitely, like, more than willing to talk about, like, if they want to talk about Christianity or trans rights. Otherwise, just going to have some fun. Doing a little bit of gaming. At least getting through the very beginning of it. It has been a, hell of a couple days, though. Like, this country is such a nightmare right now. Oh yeah, and of course, you know, Matt Walsh, I saw a tweet that he sent earlier, just like fucking bootlicking ice. Like, so pathetic.
I'll keep his attacks focused on me. Henry, you heal us up.
Understood, Captain.
Oh yeah. I just, you know, after spending like an hour doing politics, I just want to, like, I think game for the rest of the night. Unless people want to debate. If they want to debate, then we'll do that, but I think just playing some gaming and chilling for a little bit sounds good. I'm also kind of curious, like, I don't ever see people kind of like discussing like polyamory. I think that that would be like a fun thing to debate. It's kind of like just the ethics of polyamory, you know? I think that a lot of people just aren't ready for those types of conversations. I also, like, I find it, like, laughable that a lot of Christians want to pretend like they're the only ones that have, like, ethical frameworks. Like, it's genuinely confusing why they would say something like that. Well, it's not really confusing. It's because they think that, like, you know, their morals only come from God. And, like, so if you're godless, you don't have morals, but that's just really silly. It's also kind of why I wanted to play the Eredor, you know? It's like, I want to be like a little succubus, you know? I feel like if there was ever like a fantasy creature that was, you know, that we could vibe with, it would be Succubus, definitely. For, you know, reasons. Oh yeah. It is definitely good to chill. Especially like after this week. Like 2025 was just so bad. I was so glad to see 2025 like go away. Are you going to turn back into little cutie? Yeah, look at him with his blue hair. Oh wait, blue hair. He must be a liberal. So funny. I mean, they get triggered over pronouns in games. I'm sure like the Dragonflight characters having hair colors that match their flight, I'm sure like made them so angry. Let's get out of here. Yeah. Back to Dragonflight. Yeah. Oh, you know it probably did. And you can see it in the loading screen. Like their hair color matches the color of the flight that they're in. Like it's obvious that that's what Blizzard was going for. But I guarantee you there's some of them that just see like blue hair and they're like, oh, he must have blue hair because he's a liberal. But then they also like look at that character and they go like, oh look, Kalecgos is that's a boy, that's a man. And I'm like, that's a dragon. So you can gender dragons correctly in a fantasy game, right? Surely you can gender trans people correctly. Like, you know, we believe in you. You know, there's dwarves, elves, all sorts of there's even like just like void spirit creature things, and they'll gender all of those creatures correctly. Xal'atath is an alien basically, and they're like, oh, she's so evil, and I'm like, she? So you do understand how to use pronouns. Good boy. Just having some fun. But, you know, they'll get, like, angry and offended over that, but they don't get, like, upset or have anything to say whatsoever when Asmongold is, like, literally talking genocidal rhetoric. Like, that's fine. I think you gotta, like, get the Hearthstone and all that stuff before you can actually use edit mode. Oh, get on any mount. I hope everyone's having a good night. Like, things are just wild out there right now. Everything else going on with the economy, with, you know, hard to find a job right now, and you have to worry about, like, getting randomly murdered by ICE. Say, oh, let's also just give so much money to, like, a bunch of other countries. Like, I understand. It's so funny to me just because, like, it's these America First knuckleheads. Like, I don't even agree with it. I think it's what they're doing is stupid. But, like, the way that they've pivoted on this, and they're like, oh, we should just support all these other, like, send all this money to other countries in order to bribe them, take their oil, etc. I'm just like, isn't this, like, directly against all the principles that you claim that you have? Because, of course, they don't have principles. All right, let's go fight some little drakes and save some baby dragons. I'm gonna do a melee build on this character. That's what I'm going for. Although, like, I know LA is also pretty good. Like, LA usually outperforms enhancement, typically. But, I mean, you know, it's more just about fun, I think, at this point. played this game like for so long. Oh yeah, 100%. You know? It's like they want to call us like sheep, and yet they just whatever Trump tells them, whatever fits the narrative that they're pushing, that's all that they care about. It's just sad. Do some more fighting. I'm kind of like, I'm kind of curious, like, what is it going to take for things to change? Like, what is it going to have to happen before people, like, finally say, like, enough with the bullshit of what's going on? I see so many MAGA people talking about, like, regretting their votes. And it's like, well, I mean, maybe you'll get a chance to make it up during the midterms. And hopefully Democrats take the House and the Senate, you know? And we can actually, like, hold some of these people accountable for anything. Because right now, like, nothing's going to happen to that ICE agent. It's like, are you serious? The FBI is going to investigate? Oh, don't worry, the FBI is on it. Yeah, okay. Like, we saw, like, how productive their investigations were beforehand, where they would just, like, lie about who the shooter was, just making up information as they go. Complete farce. I am glad, at least for all the lore that they've been trying to fix in this game. Because, like, after Shadowlands, everything was just such a mess. If anyone wants to discuss any of the debate topics, we could also do that as well. Yeah, Shadowlands was just terrible. It's like, oh, surprise! Like, everyone in the afterlife is they're all just like robots. And then, like, the jailer's plans were complete nonsense. None of it. I mean, it was so bad for the story. It just broke so much stuff in the lore. I was really glad that they decided to just shift away from it and be like, oh, you know what? That never happened. And, like, just cut away all the stuff, like, with the first ones especially. Because it really did. You know, it felt like the kind of Marvel's problem, where you end up, the further you get away from, like, the heroes and the characters, you know what? That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about story. Yeah. Oh, I was fine with, okay, so, there's so much stuff I want to say. So with them doing Dragonflight here, there's a reason why they chose to do this, though. Because this was, like, to bring it back around. The reason why Shadowlands was so rough was because it started taking the story and moving it further and further and further, like, out into the cosmos. And from a story standpoint, when you start making things like, the stakes in the story are on such a cosmic scale, it is very difficult to feel like, how does my character fit into this? Because the things that, like, we connect with, like, as human beings, is going to be the struggles of daily life. And it doesn't matter if it's, like, a fantasy game, well, you know, it's an MMO, or if you're reading a book or watching a film. Usually you want your fantasy world, even if it's different from, like, our regular world, it's not too different. Like, even if people get, like, isekai'd into another world, usually the world resembles our own world. Or if you look at the World of Warcraft, it's like, well, there's, like, medieval stuff in it, which very much resembles, like, medieval Europe. But then there's also like, well, they have like spaceships in some parts, but the spaceships of like the Draenei are exactly what you would think spaceships like, you know, function as and look like. It's you're not making it so foreign that people can't connect with it anymore, because you still need like that human connection. And it's one of the reasons why when you come across, you know, a lot of these villains and stuff in games, even though their motivations might be kind of weird, you can like, there's flawed reasoning involved, or they're angry and they want vengeance or something. You can usually still understand why they're doing what they're doing. Like there's at least some motivation that makes sense. Like, oh, they desire eternal life. They desire power to subjugate people and that type of thing. Like you can understand why this creature is doing what they're doing and exactly how and why it's bad for you, right? If they want ultimate power over all society, and they want power over your society, and they also want harmful things to like the other people in the world, then it's like, obviously the tyrant taking over the kingdom is going to be bad if they're basically going to like steal everyone's wealth, put everyone into destitute so that they can just control everything and essentially, you know, harm every single character you care about, so that the lives of like, you know, all the people in the world are just going to be like absolute trash if this person actually gets what they want. Or you end up just raising it to you have like the ultimate stakes, which is like taking the lives of the characters. But the problem is when you start extrapolating that to like a cosmic level, it starts to like the further you get away from being ground in struggles of like daily living, or like, you know, threats to a city or a community, and you start saying like, well, this threat is actually to the entire planet, it starts to become so esoteric in a sense that it's hard to connect with like exactly, like it just doesn't feel threatening in the same way that somebody who wants to destroy your, you know, village feels threatening, even though the village could get destroyed and that might not affect anyone like in other parts of the world. It still matters more to you because that's your favorite village where your favorite pub is, as opposed to like, oh no, someone's going to blow up Earth or something. Like, obviously blowing up Earth is going to cause way more damage than just destroying one village. But whenever you have a villain like Galactus, for instance, in the MCU, it's like, well, Galactus feeds on planets in order to stay alive. So he basically has to go around and just eat planets. Now, it doesn't have to be planets with sentient creatures on it. It's just that Galactus is so big and apparently gets all of his nourishment from eating planets that that's just what he does. Like, he just happens to be a creature whose diet in order to live is eating other planets. Like, okay, so isn't it kind of like, it starts feeling strange then to be like, we have to stop Galactus. Why? Because he's going to do what he does, which is eating planets, and we don't want him to eat our planet. And it's like, what, because he's hungry? Like, because, oh, he just has to eat planets? Like, it starts to feel weird that it's like the motivation for something like Galactus is like, he's doing what he's doing because he just has to, like, he just, you know, he just eats things. At that point, you might as well just say, Galactus is like a cosmic storm or something like that, and the cosmic storm is going to hit our planet and destroy our planet unless we find some way to stop that cosmic storm. Like, it just starts to feel like not as personal. Like, the motivations, it's not like, you know, oh, this person has something like against us. Like, this person personally doesn't like my, you know, my people in this village or whatever. Instead, it's like this creature just eats cosmic things, and that's why it's a threat. It's like, oh, so it's not actually personal, right? It's just that Galactus needs to eat planets, and our planet just happens to be here. It's not like he just hates all of us personally or something like that. As opposed to stories like, let's just take something like John Wick, for instance, where John Wick's like initial motivations for going after like the Russian mob and stuff is literally because they like killed his puppy and stole his car while he was grieving his wife. and that was enough to like make him decide that like every single one of these people have to die. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, but people kill like animals every single day, and he's not like running around John Wicking them. And it's like, well, yeah, because it wasn't his specific puppy that he felt attached to after his wife died. So the character has all this grief and anger and frustration. Then all of a sudden, the mob crosses him and kills his dog and steals his car, and now he has reason to go after them and to like target them. And that to me is like, you can just say like how silly it is to kind of start the story off with those motivations, but at least it's some personal motivation. And it's not like, well, John Wick has to go and stop the mob because the mob is going to eat Earth and Mars if we don't stop them. Like, I just feel like having the personal motivation connects and makes way more sense in a story. And you can look at something like, Lord of the Rings, and it's like, well, why do we want to, stop Sauron? And it's like, oh, well, because Sauron is this big evil kind of like embodiment of wickedness. And it's like, well, yeah, but, it's also because we care about the Shire, and we care about, the characters in these different kingdoms and stuff, and we don't want them to die. And I just find that storytelling wise, that's what kind of, makes for an interesting story. That's what gives good motivations for characters. And obviously, people can talk about the hero's journey, etc., and the different like ways that you can set up arcs for characters and all that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, you want the motivations of the characters to make sense, and you also want the threat of what they're facing to make sense as well. You don't want the threat to be so esoteric that it's difficult for people to even kind of understand what they're fighting. And I know when I say like Galactus eating the planet, that I'm using that as a kind of a simple example, because again, I'm tying it to eating, right? I picked that on purpose. Imagine that the motivations for this thing is just so alien. Like it's like a old god, Cthulhu Lovecraftian, right? And then you're reading about this creature, and you're like, oh, don't ever summon, the great like Gargle blog. And it's like, well, why? What does Gargle blog do? It's like Gargle blog will destroy the entire universe if summoned. And it's like, okay, well, why does Gargle blog hate the universe? And say, no, it's just what Gargle blog does. And it's like, oh, so it's just destroying the universe for no reason. Like, it doesn't have a motivation. And it's like, oh, well, its mind is so alien that like nothing that, to say it desires things doesn't even make sense. Where Gargle blog goes, things just get destroyed. And it's like, as the reader, that's not very satisfying. And it's kind of like, it starts to feel like you're not very compelled to actually care about this thing. And it's like, okay, well, if its motivations and its mind are so alien that I can never understand it at all, why should I even care to read about it? That's how I feel about it. Like, if you can't connect the motivations, or you're going to say that this creature is so alien that you can't comprehend it, then why am I going to bother reading about it in your story? And when I see people make this mistake with like villains and motivations, that type of thing, they usually say something like that because they're trying to be mysterious. And they're like, oh, this creature is, it's very mysterious and danger. And because it's mysterious and there's an air of mystery about it, that makes it like frightening. And it's like, no, the air of mystery around something doesn't make it frightening. The air of mystery makes it intriguing. Now, you could have some creature that is doing things where there is like kind of a mystery as far as its motivations go, but the payoff for that should make some type of sense. Hey, I can use edit mode now. Because if the motivations for the creature are just never going to make sense for people, then the payoff is never going to be satisfying. And I can tell you, dear audience, where I see this like offense most often, and that's in horror. A lot of times, like in horror novels and movies, there's like, you know, some monster that is like haunting things, or killing people. We can think of like The Ring and that sort of stuff. And I feel like the Ring worked really well because it did start off as having like a mystery to it. You know, it's like this, you get a creepy phone call and this person tells you like, you know, oh, 1 week type of thing. And then people like mysteriously die after 1 week. You know, there's some good mystery there. There is, you know, it works. But as the character is doing the investigation and discovering more about this video, we never, like, in the film, you know, it is explained that, oh, this, you know, the daughter was given to them, spoilers on a, like, 20-year-old movie, but they basically couldn't have a child, prayed for this child, and that sort of thing. Then all of a sudden, they just got this child. And then the child had, like, strange psychic abilities, or seemingly psychic abilities. And then, like, it seemed like this child was harming their horses and that type of thing. So they ended up, like, putting her out inside the barn. And, you know, there ends up being some trauma around this character. The character ends up dying and then turning into, like, a vengeful spirit of some kind that, like, produced a videotape that if people watched it, a week later, the creature would, like, come out of the well where they buried its corpse at and, like, kill them. Oh my god, this person again. Yep, once again. Oh, I'm going to threaten you and blah, 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 blah. Guess what? Deleted just like that. Goodbye. So, like I was saying, oh, so terrifying. Oh no. Goodbye. Like, literally, all you're doing is giving me more interaction on the channel. You know that, right? Yeah, now they're getting their friends and stuff. Yeah. It's like, oh, just get more views. Yeah, perversion like Asmongold's. Hey, if y'all want to actually, like, talk, you know, you can ask for my Discord link, and you can actually come talk to me. You don't have to just try and bot me, or try and, like, threaten me from the chat. That's just, it's never going to work.
I'm gonna miss all the fun. There's plenty to study here before we move on, Toddy.
Elephants at the zoo by throwing peanuts at them? Well, thank you for the peanuts. We know what you did. Oh, or is that, we know what you did last summer? Is that where you're going with that? What is it that you think that I did? This will be entertaining since you're writing a fan fiction over here.
They were ruthless and powerful, killing countless dragons in ancient times. When the dragons left,
Still waiting
land went dormant. So
while you think of something.
Jaratin slumber. Commander Lethenak, Cadet said
If you're not a bot, actually, why are you so mad? Can you answer that? Like, answer that question. Otherwise, I'm just going to assume that you're, like, some bot. Anyway, like I was saying, so in, you know, you listen to the tape, and then essentially a week later, the vengeful spirit, you know, comes out of the well and kills people. You're a humanitarian gamer and a longtime lurker. Well, hi. So in the story, you know, the more that they unraveled the mystery, the more that oh, of course, that's where you went. This is gross. If you're just going to sit here and insult me, then goodbye. Like I said, if you want the Discord link, you could go and talk to me. Yeah, and of course they started trying to type some racist stuff. Oh, I'm not worried about it. Like, literally. All it does is boost engagement. So pathetic. They're not sending their best. Or their brightest. I am curious why they're so offended, though. Like, what was it that I said that made them angry? Was it just covering the news? Anyway, I'm glad that you're here. It's nice to have some people to chill with, you know? But, just to finish off what I was saying about it, the character, you know, kills people out of the well, but as they go and unravel the mystery around it, it ends up revealing, like, a big payoff, you know? There is a twist at the end. I mean, I'm already a woman. I don't know what you're talking about. It's so sad. Now you're just being gross. See, this is what we were talking about with, like, people having no morals. It's sad. As long as you're going to come and just spam with your, like, accounts, you know, goodbye. It's so sad. Let me know if you want the Discord link, you know? You can come talk to me instead of just crying in the chat. Oh, you're in China? That's cool. As far as my voice goes, though, like, I am pretty autistic. So, like, our cadence is probably, like, really flat. Like, I know, like, people have commented on that before, and it's just something, like, in my personal life, people have been like, you know, you have a very flat tone. And, like, I don't know, I can't help it, I'm neurodivergent. But, the payoff is that when they solved the mystery with the film, it ended up being, like, more horrifying. So, like, you could do something mysterious, and then once you get through it, it ends up, like, still being a good movie. And you didn't, it's not like by revealing the surprise, you didn't, like, cheapen the horror or how frightening the film was. Like, the storyline actually pays off in that way. What? This person. Literally. It's like somebody is definitely trying to use their bots. I have no idea. I have no idea what... Just crashing out completely. They are very upset, apparently. I will say, though, that there's... You literally can't even spell it. You're so dumb. You're illiterate too, apparently. Definitely an Asmongold fan. I would like to know why they're so angry. Like, why are these people, like, so pissed off? But, you know, they'll never talk because they're cowards. So instead, they just resort to insults. You know, insults and canceling. That's all that they have. I don't do requests like that, I'm sorry. But if you want to, you said you're a long-time lurker. I don't know who these students are. And why would you be showing them my stream anyway? My stream is probably not appropriate for kids. Y'all are hilarious. These are like the most pathetic insults I've ever heard. Yeah, just complete psychotic stuff. I told you, like, literally, you show the truth about these people and they just can't help themselves. They come out of the like woodwork to just harass you. All they've got is like memes. Right? All the effort. They're like, yeah, I'm going to spend my time going on someone's stream. So the goal is basically to get you to stop, because they want you to stop making content and stop talking about stuff and stop sharing your ideas and pointing out how terrible their ideas are. Like, they have no actual values. They have no virtue. They have nothing to offer except for anger and bitterness because they hate their own life so much. And they are such usually like pathetic people that already failed at life. Like, you know, all they do is they're terminally online. They know all these like, you know, weird, like niche internet things where it's like, oh, there was this, you know, shooting that happened or whatever. And they're just going to quote this stuff because this has consumed their life. I'm perfectly calm. It's hilarious that you would look like you could look at the chat and see like the all caps that people are typing and think that like I'm not chill. I couldn't be more chill. I'm literally enjoying my video game. It's so sad. Yeah, this guy right here, like that. You think that guy is chill? Ugh. I can't even imagine his cortisol levels. They must be like raging. Yeah, I already told you that I don't do that, so I'm going to have to ask you to respect my consent. I do not consent to doing that. So be chill, and you can stay. Otherwise, you know, I don't know why you're spamming that. I'm sorry, why are you asking about pronouns? I thought we don't do the pronoun thing. I can't believe this person is fixated on pronouns, you know? Yeah, have a good day to you too. I hope you grow up and get a life. Maybe like you know, you could go hug one of your bros or something. Learn some empathy. Or better yet, you should get a book and read up on like on virtue, you know? That might help you. Cuz your life is definitely going the wrong direction right now. I know y'all are the ones that like to psychoanalyze people a lot and say like, "Oh, you're LGBT, there must be something terrible happened to you," but like legitimately you can easily see just the brain rot with all the stuff that's being spammed. Like the obvious racism. I don't think I don't engender anybody. What a silly thing for you to say. See, and that stuff right there, like, I'm just going to delete it. You're just gross. But, you know, this is what you get from conservatives. It's the best that they've got. You ask who those people are? They're triggered snowflakes, is who they are. They can't stand for people to exist that have, like, a different opinion from them. You're not allowed to think anything different. And, you know, there's a good chance they're bots. Yeah, like, this person is, like, very obviously a troll. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're Trump supporters. Like, they could also be like a nihilistic, you know, just assholes. Which is just hilarious. Anyway, you should definitely, if you're writing story, you'll want to connect, you know, the struggles and stuff that your characters face to like realistic things that people face like in everyday life, you know, whether that's like financial hardship, relationships, you know, navigating, like losing family, that sort of thing. People can connect with those types of struggles. Those are like almost like universal human experiences. What you don't want to do is have people essentially having to rely on like, you know, some imaginary thing like, you know, some galaxy eating monster, and they have to fight the galaxy eating monster. Like, that's just never going to be a compelling story at all. It's why the old god stuff in WoW kind of worked for a little while, when it's like, oh, these things like, you know, like warp people's minds and drive them to insanity or whatever. But then all of a sudden, when it comes to, you know, like after a few expansions of the old gods, it's just like, okay, these things are just big, giant, monstrous creatures that essentially just cause corruption wherever they're buried at. It's kind of strange. Like, it's just hard to take it serious after like such a long amount of time, where it's like, oh, there, you know, once again, there's an evil old god thingy that's buried here, and it is corrupting people, and we have to stop it once again. And it's just like, how many of these things? Like, you're just recycling the same story, and a lot of them didn't even have any sort of motivations that made sense. Yeah, like again, When you just fall back to insults, that's all you got because you're pathetic. It's so funny. It's like, oh, I'm going to get under your skin by insulting you and saying, you know, like harassing things towards you. I don't care. One click away, and so much for your messages. Now, if you want to have an actual conversation or like a dialect about something, that's fine. We could talk about it. But if you're just going to like say dumb things and you're like, oh, I'm going to make you so upset. Like, look at my face. I don't, y'all can say whatever you want to. I just think that y'all are, it's just vulgar and disgusting. It's just very sad. Like, this is what I want to do with my evening. I want to get online and just go around harassing people. But as long as character motivations like make sense, especially for your villains, I feel like it makes your story just that much stronger. Because you can, even if you write like a relatable villain, or at least like you understand why the villain is doing what they're doing, then like at least to some extent, you'd still, you know, be able to like appreciate the story for what it is. It's hilarious. So many chuds. They think that they're gonna like, you know, upset me or like make me crash out or something. And I'm just like, I literally, y'all have the lowest tier effort like insults on the planet. Y'all are generally like so sad. It's so funny. I think I'm gonna do fire and frost damage. Oh yeah, I know. Like, to be honest with you, I thought like that they were all so similar. I was like, is this like just the same bot that is just being repurposed? Because they're all so similar. And the things that they think that will be shocking is just like the most boring, low effort stuff I've ever heard, because it's the same stuff that like, you know, kids post all day long on the internet at each other. To be like, oh, look how edgy I am. Like, this is genuinely, I feel like this is like what people that watch like South Park would imagine would be like a like good insults. And the people that are posting like really like terrible stuff is just auto-botted. So that's why they're having to like try and post like one letter at a time and that type of thing. It's really sad. Once again, like the exact same type of garbage. Like, oh, I'm going to come on here and just post like disgusting, you know, I'm just going to be a gross person. Like, okay. You can say whatever you want to. You're the one that like you to look totally hinged when you post stuff like that. Trust me. Probably an Asmongold fan. Let's look. Let's do all. There we go. I will say it's definitely a spicier night, you know? I think I may have accidentally triggered some snowflakes there. The chuds are definitely, you know, butt hurt. Oh, look at this. It actually got me stuck on the anvil. from charging and hitting that guy. I can just use my hearth. Let's see. From stop it from being visible on the stream. Oh, I don't really care. Are you talking about like hiding it here like on YouTube? Because it doesn't show up on YouTube. I can just look at OBS and see like what was moderated. But between like both of us, you know, plus the OBS moderation, like it's pretty easy to catch it all. It's just like, it's pretty entertaining the amount of effort that they're trying to go in to try to take down my stream. Like literally. It's like, wow, y'all are genuinely wasting your time. Or somebody got mad and decided to like, you know, use a bot program. Either way, wouldn't be surprised. I'm just curious, like, what it was that I said. Like, what part of the news made them so angry? Or is it like, you know, pointing out how similar, like, you know, Trump is acting, like, toward, like, how Russia was acting toward Ukraine, you know? I'm like, is it Russian bots or American bots? Welcome, Kyle. Oh, you've missed a wild one so far. They got so mad talking about like I was talking about Asmongold earlier, and you know, basically how you know, MAGA was shedding tears and crying over Charlie Kirk and being like, "Oh my God, they killed Charlie!" But then like laughing at this woman who was killed. You know, this innocent person. Hey, if you're not a bot, then I want to know, why are you mad? What did I say that made you angry? I genuinely want to know. Because I want to do it again. It's pretty funny. Why, like, if y'all are genuinely not bots, that's even more entertaining. Or when they lay on the ground crying a pool of blood, what are you talking about? Like, can you make some sense? See? Then once again, right back to, like, just, like, being grotesque. Joseph Smith. So funny. So I'm going to name myself after the leader of the Mormons that got himself killed trying to escape jail. No, I'm pretty sure, like, these are people, like, you know, you say certain keywords and all of a sudden, like, you're going to get people upset or pissed off. And I'm not sure if it was, like, talking about Asmongold or whenever I was saying that what Trump is doing with Greenland, like, oh, I'm going to bribe you, you know, $10,000 or $100,000 per citizen in order to, like, purchase your country to, like, bribe you. I was comparing that to what Putin did with the sham elections when he took over, like, Crimea. So like I'm not sure what it was that made them that angry. Then again, it could also like just be, you know, being trans on the internet. Like sometimes that's enough to make the most unhinged people on the internet really angry. They've been trying to just, you know, instigate us, but like these type of people don't bother me at all. Like the rhetoric that they're using, it doesn't shock me. I know exactly the type of people these are. And it's like, once you've dealt with like literally hundreds of these types of people, it's like they expect what they're going to say is like going to be shocking and new, when they have like they don't have a single like bone of creativity in their body. Everything they say is just regurgitating what other people have said. Even their insults are like the exact same brain dead type of stuff, where it's just sad. It's like, you really think like I've never heard this before? Like people never came up with anything that sounds just like it? You know, at least have some like original thoughts. At least say something that people might find like compelling or interesting or worthwhile. Instead, they're just like wasting their time. I mean, at least they tried something. No, they will never. They've just been saying this stuff like over and over and over. Yeah, threatening to kill me again. Oh no. I've never gotten death threats before. Goodbye. That's why I said this is more of like Fuentes crowd or something. Like if these are actual users, then they're more like gripers or something. Especially with some of the memes that they've been saying. They're pretty mad. Well, it's 9 p.m. So you've only got a little bit of time left to say something that's going to make me crash out. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe it's the debate stuff that I had, which I did offer to talk to them, by the way. I'll say, hey, if any one of you want to talk to me, like I'll give you my Discord link just to like have a conversation with you. But none of these people are actually interested in conversation. Oh, it's fine. There's literally like 3 of us here right now. Let me see. There you go. Between Hana, Morgan, and I, like all of us can handle moderation pretty easily, especially because like there's honestly not that many of them. They keep coming in like very tiny waves, because like that's why I was being like really suspicious that this seems like it is one person using like bots essentially. But you know, it is what it is. I was talking earlier about like oh yeah, no, I had like a full hour of like talking politics and stuff, and like none of these people were here then. You know, they didn't show up until I was like gaming for a little while, so like I'm just guessing that like, you know, one of the words that I used like activated them or whatever. Because the last thing that I was talking about was like that Russia stuff, so I was just like, I don't know, maybe that's what did it. But I was talking about, you know, motivations for characters, and when you're writing, you want to end up, you know, making sure that villain motivations make sense, character motivations make sense, and that it's better to keep the motivations for your stories like personal to characters. so that you end up not writing something kind of where Marvel had gone with, of making the threats to the world like so esoteric that it's like, oh, it's basically Galactus eating planets, and then like pointing out that people usually write Lovecraftian type of cosmic horror in order to make the villains kind of like mysterious, but then pointing out like in horror you see people make monsters and stuff mysterious, but once they investigate it, it ends up like you know, having a good payoff. Like you saw that with The Ring. Yeah, see, if you just do if you just insult, then yeah, I'm just going to delete your stuff. All it takes is a couple of clicks. I'm pretty sure, was that 3 Days Grace? I thought that was Linkin Park, you know? Which just kind of confirms the entire, you know, their idea of Edge is like South Park. Yeah, it's Linkin Park lyrics. I guess they're like, you know, emo as well.
We cannot remain in the shadows. No. Not this. You deserved better.
But yeah, I've been working on a shaman. Oh yeah, I'm almost positive it's Linkin Park.
Small one. And be at peace. Stay away from those primal conduits.
Done pretty well though. I started off at like level 8 and I'm already up to like 17. Just trying to, you know, get ready for midnight. I like the name Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden's laptops. It's like, what? It's pretty funny. That was something that they just kept going on and on and on about, you know? Like, oh no, what about the laptop? It's the laptop from hell. Let's see. What is this person saying? Oh yeah, that makes sense too, because that seems like it would be one of those types of things where they keep obsessing about it. I really liked Dragonflight overall. Like, I know a lot of people were upset because, like, oh, the faction war seems like it's not that meaningful or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but, you know, you could always, like, change that in the future. Like, I don't know why everything has to be all about the faction war. Oh, they can't, I'm not sure. I don't think any of those people can even read. Like their messages are so poorly written. It's like unironically they're just sounding out their insults. Gust of wind is so helpful. It's just funny, you know, after all the like debating and stuff that we've done and just being kind of like online for years and like the things that people say to you, like just for being trans online, I'm just like, do y'all think that like we haven't heard this stuff before?
It is up to me.
You know, it's like they're like, oh, I'm so ingenious and no one's ever said anything like this before and it's totally going to hurt your feelings. It's like you're just like, you know, giving us stuff to point to and talk about while we're on stream. Right? It's so sad. Oh yeah, it's so wildly like incoherent. Like it would be like if you basically went to like ChatGPT and you're like, hey, chat, can you just give me like the most non sequitur South Park style insults that anyone's ever heard? Especially because like so much of it is like the same wording, like the same, you know, words and stuff that are used in each one of them. That it ends up being like, you know, either it's a group of people that all just for whatever reason keep thinking about the exact same types of things, or you know, it's a bot. Especially the names are similar, the insults are similar. You know, they can say whatever they want to. South Park, as in like, you know, the irreverent style of humor where they basically would try and like outrage people by saying like the edgiest things that you could possibly do, you know? Like way back in the day, it's like, oh no, they actually like killed Kenny on screen. Like, oh, I'm so shocked. It's like, you know, people would essentially try to emulate the types of insults that like Cartman would say and think like this is going to be like, this is going to get her, this is going to make her super upset. Meanwhile, I'm just like nonplussed at all. Someone help me with what? Lol. Empty threats once again. Right, exactly. Yeah, it's like random bullshit plus a baby.
Hold on tight, if you can. The tenders alerted me as
Somebody was trying to do the meme earlier to be like, it's ma'am, it's ma'am. And I'm just like, this is literally the most like, you know, online brain rot from, well, like 5 years ago? 6 years ago? I'm like, y'all really think that that's going to like bother us?
the red dragonflight was charged with nurturing life. We must stop the primalists. We must stop the proto-dragons.
to the Ruby Life Shrine, champion. I am glad my major domo has brought you to me safely. But what brings you here so urgently?
I was content to just remove their messages, but I'm just going to start timing them out, like, for an entire day. So, like, every time they post something, that's just going to be it. But it is already past 9 o'clock anyway, and I do have work in the morning.
Through their eyes, you may come to understand our calling.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, every single one of these people would be like friends of Epstein.
Each egg requires careful supervision to reach their full potential. We provide that care.
I never. The Blue Dragon Flight has endured terrible losses as of late.
Huh, lol.
Them over.
You know, that's going to be very sad for you when people can just go back through and look at the last several streams that I've done and find out that I log off about 9 o'clock every single day. Sad, sad. Oh yeah, no, it's fine. If anything, like, I do want to start, like, actually talking to these people and debating some of them on these issues. Maybe not these people, just because, like, I mean, all they're going to do is get on and screech about, you know, like, something, you know, insert child. Like, that's all that they've got. Like, there'd be no reason to even, like, to even attempt to talk with these people. Like, it'd be like talking to someone who's just, like, screaming and smearing stuff on a wall. And it's like, yeah, that's just not going to work. Like, they clearly don't care about, like, having a conversation. They're only here to, like, essentially grief. Like, 100%. And they have such a fragile worldview. It's like they can't defend anything. They have an empty sack. They have no virtue, no morals. They can't defend anything. They have, like, no justification for their behavior. They just engage in absolute rancid, you know, attacks. And they think, like, well, if I say the worst things to violate any sort of decorum, then that's going to get Zoe. And like I'm sorry, y'all do not know the kind of people that I've debated and talked with before. Like, this is just such low effort stuff. It's pathetic. And I noticed that, like, there's been other train streamers that I've watched that, like, when they were first getting their channel started, like, essentially they would come in and try and, like, harass them off the platform. So, like, every time that they would go live, they would just come in and keep trying to say, like, heinous stuff. But, you know, what do you expect when it comes to conservatives? Especially, like, if some of these people are, like, you know, Christians or white nationalists. Like, this is all that they do. They cry all day long, oh, about censorship and stuff like that. And then, like, will constantly try and run people off of platforms that, like, just have a different, you know, opinion. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, Morgan. It's like, you know, it's just the chuds, like, successfully, like, swarming and running me off the platform. It's not like tomorrow I'm not going to, you know, stream once again at the exact same times I've streamed the last 2 days. It would be very embarrassing for them if I show up tomorrow streaming at the exact same time that I've been streaming at, you know? It'd be very weird. Oh well, I can camp here. Level 19, not too bad. Do y'all like the changes to the layover, by the way? Like, while I still have you here. I put the chat, like, with a little background right there. And then, like, across the bottom, I put topics that I would want to, like, debate or, like, you know, have conversations about. And I wanted to do that because I realized, like, yesterday while I was streaming, it was, like, very difficult to see the chat on the screen. and it's something that had just, you know, happened a couple of times. So I was like, I actually want to like change that so that, you know, everyone can see stuff. And I also have this background now. So like if I'm just like hanging out and talking, these would be like things that we could talk about. I'm sure those people that were here raging, you know, seeing my topics, right? There you go. Get mad. You know, like if you were mad at me playing a video game, I'm sure you're going to get mad about these topics, right? Like whatever they disagree with here, you know, well, I'd be glad to talk about it. It would be hilarious, you know. The sad thing is, like, you know, I know if I invited any of the people that were on here to come and chat, they wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, I could put myself at the top of the chat, but I like being in the bottom right-hand corner. Part of it's because, like, whenever I'm gaming and stuff like that, the bottom right-hand corner over here is not usually where, like, you know, the action is happening in games. Oh yeah, 100%. The issue is that, like, a lot of the things that people want to engage in debate, like rhetorically, are things that you would just traditionally recognize as unacceptable for debate. Because there's a difference in, like, somebody wanting to debate you and talk to you versus somebody who's just looking to, like, fight you. If somebody is looking for a fight, they're not going to have a discussion. Like, their entire goal is just to harm you, which is clearly what these people are doing here. Like, they're not interested in talking. They just want to, like, hurt people. But I'm sure there are some people out there that might, like, come across my stream, see some of this stuff, and actually, like, want to, like, talk about it or debate it or something. Now, I think some of the stuff on here is, like, borderline things that we shouldn't be debating. But it's just the state of affairs right now that this country has gone so fascist that we actually need to address some of this stuff. Yeah, it seems like kind of worldwide there was a shift toward the right. But then when some of those countries, like in the elections afterward, when some of them saw what was going on with the countries that embraced that right-wing shift, like toward, like, nationalism and stuff like that, they were like, oh crap, look how terrible, like, look what happened in America. Look at what Trump is doing. Like, I don't know if y'all remember or not, but there was a Canadian election, like, shortly after Trump was elected. And when Trump was elected, the far-right Canadian Party was actually almost like neck and neck with, like, the Liberal Party. But then once Trump started saying that Canada should be part of the United States and started gesturing at finding ways to, like, force them to become part of our nation against their will, and it just so happened that the leader of the right-wing party there had been emulating Trump's, like, speech patterns and that type of thing, they ended up shifting, you know, they went with the liberal candidate, who obviously, you know, Carney, even though I don't think he has done a very good job, you know, even as a liberal. And I wish that he would take, you know, more action, like move further left, as is clearly what we ought to be doing. And then in American politics, you kind of see the same type of thing, where we are starting to see some people, you know, Jasmine Crockett, Maxwell Frost, we are seeing some people, you know, further left and offering, you know, that viewpoint, which is now being kind of like nationally talked about, as opposed to, like, a few years ago, like, Bernie Sanders was pretty much the one person that seemed like, you know, was like the socialist, but a lot of people treated him like he was out of touch up until, you know, the debates that he had against Joe Biden. And then after that, like, nationally, we started talking about things like Medicare for all. And that kind of like brings me like full circle to some of the politics I was talking about earlier. So they just voted to extend, at least the House did, against Mike Johnson. They voted to actually extend Obamacare subsidies. And Trump wants to like, stomp down on that and wants to crush it. He's pissed. He's livid about it, but it's going to go to the Senate. And it's always possible that the Senate passes it, because at this point, I think the GOP, they know with how much premiums are going up for people insurance wise, that this is going to be disastrous come the midterms if we still have, like free and fair elections. It would obviously be disastrous if they end up allowing these, allowing those extensions to expire. So we'll see what happens with that. I'll keep an eye on it, but it literally is getting toward, 30 after, and I do have to be up early. So it was fun. I covered a couple of articles like pretty quickly. You can always go back and watch the stream or watch the VOD afterward. Had to deal with a hell of a lot of trolls in that last hour, but it's just like, I don't know why they were so mad, but I'll see him tomorrow, I guess. But I hope